Hi. Since I said that I had some CDs I'd show you, that means I have others. So this is going to be more CDs. So this is part 2. Let's say it's 2 parts. The first one I did already, and this is the second part. So I will say that even though both parts of of the video are with some good stuff in it, I would say, if I had to say which part of the video might have the better CDs, I would say my bias would have to say that there might be more of the kind of stuff that I like a lot in this second batch. Even though I do like a good deal of what's in the first batch, this batch has more of what I might call my favorites. Okay, not all of them. There's some in this batch that I might not like as much as the ones that I like more, but generally speaking, this is the better batch. Okay. This group is called the Locksmiths. I guess you would say they're kind of folky. They're kind of cute sounding, like if they're playing for a group of toddlers. But talented. But yeah, toddler music, sort of. Okay? And then Matt Renzi, arm-size leggings. The cover kind of looks like they took a picture of an apartment quick and didn't think about whether or not it was a good cover, but the music in here is really quite good. This is some top quality jazz. If you get a chance to listen to it, I strongly suggest you do that. This is good stuff. And then this is Anthony Coleman and Brian Chase. Their album Arcades. It's maybe a little bit kind of electronic, sort of. It's fine. It might not be one of my my favorites, but it's decent. And then this Andrea Branchfield Lotus Blossom. It looks kind of like it would be a new wave, a new age kind of album, but it's more jazzy than you would imagine. It's good jazz stuff. You know, pretty decent. And then this one is Ina Forsman. And if you're into Bonnie Raitt, that kind of music, she's like a jazzy R&B version of that. She has her own unique sound that's kind of interesting, but she's really good. And she is someone else who I suggest you look for. This group is the KVB. I saw them live. And they're really good live. This is also good, but you also need to see them live if you really want to know what they can do. Their live stuff is where they're going their strongest. But this is a good album. If you can get it, get it. It's called Unity, and it's by the KVB. And this is by some group called The Stingers, called This Time Around. This, I would have to say, sounds to me like they're trying to be a little bit cute, and they're not quite succeeding, but I mean, I guess it's worth a listen if you're totally drunk and it's like 3 o'clock in the morning and you have nothing better to hear. Try it. And then String Noise. This is a duo of Conrad Harris and Pauline Kim Harris. And they do music by other composers, by Alex Minsek, Lou Bunk, and Catherine Lamb. And it's interesting music. It's avant-garde classical. And this is by Grace Gaustad, called Human. It's sort of like a little bit like hip-hop with jazz, but it's a little bit better than what you would think. It's kind of interesting. And this is Judson Green's album, Gratitude. It's okay. It's kind of jazzy. Not my favorite, but not bad. And then this is Danny Tobias, Silver Linings. This is a little more like if you like Miles Davis and you like guys like that, and you want to hear like a more recent version of that kind of stuff, like the album Kinda Blue maybe, but different, like a more contemporary version of that sound. This guy would be your bet. You could safely say he would do you well. Okay, and then this group, Iconoclast, the album is Demolition of Wisdom. This is strongly good avant-garde, out there jazz stuff. I really, really recommend you hear it. This is a duo of Leo Ciesa and Julie Jocelyn. And man, they hit it out of the ballpark. But it's not for people who are into more normal music. This is really out there stuff, but it's top notch. I strongly recommend you check it out. Okay? This is Denise Mangieri. Her album Brown Book. She's more of a composer, but she does sing a little bit. Most of the songs on here are really, really good. And it's definitely worth hearing. There's a couple of them that I don't like at all. And it kind of bothers me that they're on here. But the best stuff is so good, you do need to hear it. You need to check her out. She's really, really good. And then this is Layla Bialy, Out of Dust. She's kind of cool. She's jazzy. Maybe kind of like an Italian version of Astrud Gilberto, if you know her work. She's good. She's worth hearing. And this is Dawn and Hawks. The Other Side. I like some of this quite a bit, and some I don't. So, if you want to hear some good stuff, they do have some good stuff. But if you're like me, don't expect to like all of it. But some of it is good. Okay. And then for a group called Chrome Hill. This is avant-garde jazz, but I only like some of it. But the songs that I do like are really, really worth hearing. But there are some songs that I don't like at all. So you're not going to get a fully great album if you get this, but you will get an album with some excellent material that you ought to hear. Okay. Now for a group, Memory Field, with Robin Cage, the album Lost to the Sea. This is kind of like Pink Floyd Division Bell with Alan Parsons' newer work, with some of it working quite well and some of it sounding filler. But it's interesting progressive rock. Not all of it I love, but there's enough good songs where, yeah, it's worth hearing, at least somewhat. And then this, Silvia Brooks, she's kind of cool, kind of jazzy. Yeah, I would say if it's late at night and you're drinking something and you want to hear some good music, some jazzy music by a nice, lady, you could put this on and it would work. It's decent. And then this one, Parts of Me by Arlie Hughes. I think I liked some of it, but I think that it isn't fully good. But yeah, you can enjoy some of it. It's some of it's pretty good. And then Richard Thompson's album, Acoustic Classics 2. This is actually pretty good. He does acoustic versions of some of his songs that he did in Fairport Convention and some of his solo stuff, and he does different versions of them, but they're decent. This actually is quite a good album. You ought to check it out. And then this by Michael Marcus called Stone Jump. This is quite cool. There's some really hot stuff on here, right? I think you dig it. This is really quite cool. And this has a piano player named John Austria who I met and I know a little bit, and he's a nice guy, and his work is worth checking out. He's very decent. I like his work. He's cool. Check this album out. And then this is Carolina Rose, her album Invicta. It looks like it might be kind of a heavy rock album, but it isn't. It's jazz. And it's actually quite good. I think that if you found it, it would be a treat to get it. And then Armin Donnellan, Fresh Start. This is really good. You can definitely get into it. He's quite a good artist. I think you'd like his work if you like cool, good jazz. And then this is Selwyn Lissac. Friendship Next of Kin. It's interesting. It's an old album from like the 60s. Kind of like combination of French and African. And it's worth hearing. But if you can't find it, I wouldn't cry over it. It's kind of an acquired taste. It's decent, but I mean, it's essential if you're looking for really obscure avant-garde jazz stuff that is hard to find, but it's not the very best of that work. But if you can find it, it is worth hearing. So that's that. And then for the last one, Alicia Lee, Conversations with Myself. This is her solo album, but she's doing other people's compositions. She's doing stuff by Dai Fujikura and Pierre Boulez and Isong Yun and Unsuk Chin and Hideaki Edmori. So it's mostly Japanese composers with a French guy added in. And I think also a Chinese composer. But yeah, very good avant-garde classical work. But not everyone might like hearing solo clarinet. But I do. And I definitely think that you ought to check it out. Okay. That has been my second batch of CDs. I do have maybe a few more, but I don't know when I'll get around to showing them to you. For now, let's just say that that's the bunch of CDs of mine that I care to show you. I do have others from when I went to shows and bought CDs from the artists. I do have maybe enough for another round. But let's say for now this is the other part of the two-part series of CDs. If I do a third one, it'll be later maybe. But for now, those are the CDs I wish to show you. I hope you enjoyed them. Bye.